Hey guys, Dekar here to bring you a little video on mechanics, namely practicing them, right? So there's nothing really special here, it's just going to be a bunch of repetition. The main thing that I'm giving you here is just some information on what to practice. A lot of people don't know, like, hey, should I be practicing my fast cues? Hey, should I be practicing my combo? Should I be practicing flash engages? The answer is you should be practicing all of them. How much time you allocate to each thing just comes down to, like, what are your weaknesses? What do I suck at? What do I struggle with? If I'm in a game and I just bombed this, I did a terrible flash engage, maybe I should practice my flashes, right? Something like that. So really for all of us, it varies. Like, let's say I average 50 CS at 10 minutes. I should practice CSing. Let's say I'm good at CSing, but I kind of suck at I freeze up in ganks or something. I struggle at escaping. Maybe you should practice just spacing yourself away. I don't know. For me, there's no glaring weakness. Mainly just gotta, keep the mechanics on point. So if I feel that I've been kind of falling apart or haven't been dedicating enough time to the game, I'll just hop into a custom game, practice whatever comes to mind. Usually start with those guys, just so that I can make sure I'm not losing too much HP when I try to cheese out level 2. A lot of times when I am CSing, I like to, so let's say I'm starting a new champion, I'll just start with 0 items, and I'll just last hit the first wave. I'm not going to use abilities, I'm not going to level anything, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to sit there last hitting, so that I can familiarize myself with their auto attack, familiarize myself with sort of their character model, like how you get crate block or something like that. Like if you pick a juggernaut such as a Lowy or the Garen pick, anything like that, you're kind of clunky. Your auto attacks are kind of slow. So it's going to feel different from picking something like the best ADC in my mind used to always be Ashe for auto attacks. So Darius as compared to Ashe is going to be something very different. So you want to practice that. Probably stop proxying these, let them push out so that I'm actually contesting these for the CS. I like doing proxy practice because it allows me to practice shoving the wave as quickly as possible while losing as little HP as possible. Or at least practice it, So we'll just sit here and last hit. A lot of times, people don't realize, like, oh, if I really am just terrible at CSing, maybe you shouldn't be harassing during the wave crash, right? Maybe you should just be focusing on last hitting. Even if you got to use your abilities to last it, I mean, if this is the difference between having 100 CS at 12 or 13 minutes for you and having 70 CS, then that's a pretty big gold difference, right? It's like 600, 700, 800 gold. That could be an item difference. That could be like a power spike difference. That could be, the difference between, so let's say you get an extra 800 gold as Riven, that's like 2 long swords or 2 ruby crystals, 2 something, right? Two minor components, and that can completely flip a fight that you would otherwise definitely lose. Oh. Ooh. They stopped hitting it. They were hitting this one because it pulled aggro. Oops. Now, if you feel rather comfortable with CSing, if you don't feel that's one of your weaknesses, another thing I like to do in practice games is just pick a lane opponent. Pick any lane opponent. Doesn't really matter. Someone you struggle with, someone maybe you just want to familiarize yourself with it because it's, oh, that's my other main. I'm familiar with them. I would write down their cooldowns. So for example, my bread and butter always, just for anytime I do a lesson or something, is my bread and butter is Irelia, right? I'll pick Irelia and I'll say, all right, so I know Irelia's cooldowns, but for you, I would say, oh, you write them down. Q, you don't really have to write the Q. I mean, it's in order, right? Top down, it's gonna be 14 to 6. That's her Q, and of course, everyone knows that shit resets. Her W is gonna be 15 seconds. E is 8 seconds, and then her ult, which I mean, it's oops, it's because they're relatively equal to our ult, it's not the most important thing, but I mean, Irelia's ult, it's her largest power swing. That's going to be, I mean, until she gets Triforce, her ult is her biggest power swing in fights and stuff. It gives her kill potential, gives her a lot of sustain, great escape, adds to her mobility because it's going to give her, like, she ults twice, or maybe even once if she has her Sheen, right, in the W proc. She ults once, Qs to the back line. She walks around, kind of kites you a little bit with her E, and then that's kind of mess with your fluidity in the fight. So it's very important to keep tabs on that. Ult's 100 seconds. Then at level 6 it's 100. At level 16 it's 60. Obviously between those two it's going to be 80. For the Q, it's going to go from 14 to 6, and you level it up 4 times. So it's going to go 14, 12, 10, 8, 6. A lot of people are not, for difficult matchups on Irelia. Now, that's another thing for these champions. You got to kind of know the kit in order to know their leveling order. But for a lot of Irelias, you'll max either W first or E first just to disengage, kind of farm it out. This newest season, I mainly see just W max. So the W, the cooldown doesn't change at all. The E, the cooldown doesn't change at all. The Q, the cooldown does. The R, the Q cooldown does. So it's kind of static. You're gonna know, like, her cooldowns will be pretty much the same until she starts getting some CDR, as well as hits like the level 13 spike. Even ICU, I'm seeing he's starting to max. It's gonna be W and then E. Right? So you don't really have to worry too much about the cooldown. It's not too variant. That's not the difficult part of the matchup. The difficult part of the matchup is paying attention to your minion HP and paying attention to your HP relative to hers. Of course, it's a complicated thing working with the matchup, but knowing the cooldowns is like the first step. And that's something that you could do without a sparring partner, without someone to practice the matchup with, you know? Without even queuing up for a game, you can practice that. You can find out, hey, my Q being 13 seconds is roughly the same amount of time as her W, right? My W being is 11 seconds is roughly the same as, well, a little under her Q. It's not the same as her E. It's not going to match her E. But I'm going to purchase components for CDR a little quicker than she is. Usually she'll value the phage. Guess I'm getting a little too into that, the matchup and stuff though. So one thing into the Irelia, or just whatever matchup, right? Whatever matchup you do pick, I like to say what in my kit counters what in their kit, right? So what of my tools, my Q being a dash, being a bit of damage, right? Dash, AoE, and then the third Q being an AoE knockback, right? Does that counter anything in Irelia's kit? I like to look at what in her kit counters what I have. So like, her W offers sustain and not only sustain, but sustained damage for 6 seconds. A lot of damage, in fact. What in my kit counters her E, which is the stun, which is the slow, the 8-second stun slow. Well, my W can quasi-match her E. My E, and actually for Riven, we don't just have the E, we don't just have the W, we also have the EW to kind of match something like that. But my W can be used to match her E. My third Q, if I time it correctly, can match her her Q to execute a minion and to space at me. And if I actually interrupt that, if even once during these trades, if my third Q interrupts her Q, I win that trade. I always win that trade. If she Qs into a minion and I can get an auto off, like if I know she's gonna do it, and a lot of times it's not even about knowing it, it's just about clicking her. Hold tilde, click her champ, I'm gonna walk at her, and if she does Q the minion, then I'm gonna auto her on her way to that. She's gonna obviously use her E as she Qs in, right? But if I auto and then EW, I'm gonna beat her in that trade. These are a lot of little mini things that, I mean, over time you figure them out. If you play the champion, her champion, especially, because Irelia, her trading patterns, her movement patterns, they're very different compared to a lot of things. Like Renekton would kind of just go in. Irelia is much more fluid. That's why the difference between a good Irelia, such as let's say ICU, Wicked, or TF Blade, right? The difference between one of those good Irelias and between someone kind of just auto-filled and picking the champ because Mobifier said that Irelia counters Ribbon, right? The difference between those two people is just insane. So if you were to pick up the champion, you could say, hey, I know usually if I'm playing Irelia, I want to trade in right here. I know if I'm playing Irelia, I want to use my Q here to Q, and then auto Q that, right? Something like that. And if that is the case, then I'm gonna just sit next to those minions, because I know I win the trade if she's not the one, if she's not directly next to me engaging. A lot of her strength comes from being able to combo her CC with another, her CC and burst with another jungler, such as like Elise is like the culprit. Usually if you've got a super reliable CC in the lane, then Elise is like, oh my god, I'm terrified of that matchup. And usually I've got to play much more safe than I otherwise would if they had, say, a Kha'Zix or something without CC. Kha'Zix, Nidalee, or, I mean, if you've got, the Irelia E is gonna let the Nidalee land the spear every time, but I fear that matchup less than I fear the Irelia Elise or the Renekton Elise, something like that. Maybe this is a little information overload, I'm not sure. Usually for these videos I just, I'll do a lot of stuff and then I'll record later. I don't know. But yeah, that's enough for CSing. Let's move on to some other stuff, such as like practicing comboing, right? So I still haven't bought, who cares about that? That's not too big a deal. Riven's got a shitload of combos. We could practice. Now, Shy combo's okay. It's not as useful. It's not as streamlined as other stuff. It's just super famous because it's like the oldest one. The newest, well, not even newest, but like the best combo in my opinion to practice for fluidity and to practice, this practice is flash engaging but also double casting for you, would be the Nid Junior combo. Nid jungle. Nid Junior combo would be ER, flash, WQ, AA, RQ, right? So I'm gonna flash, and I tried to do the auto before it. Oops. I just always do that. We'll just turn the cooldowns back on. Or the cooldowns back off. We'll flash on this thing. You could use the dummy. Doesn't matter what you're using, honestly. In fact, we'll do that. I like doing this, and actually, yeah. Much prefer to do this because it makes sure the game isn't going to end off the minions. The game usually ends in like 40-45 minutes if you just sit there and let them do it. Shouldn't do that because you only get an hour anyway. But ER, flash, WQ. Don't do the auto first. The auto first is that's like if they don't have a flash. Maybe let's say they're like an ADC who has no CC, they have no self-peel, they don't have a jump, they don't have their flash up, all that stuff, all these different things adding up. Oh yeah, you could do the auto first. But we're just saying like, all I want to do is flash and CC. Right? My bandit procced. If all I want is to CC them, I'm gonna ER flash. I'm gonna do the Nid Junior combo. ER flash, double cast my WQ, then auto, then RQ. I'm rich. Another thing you could do just to practice doing it. Is my W not coming out? Hold on. Sometimes it fucks. Like, it's pretty annoying when you're just doing it in rapid succession. Sometimes the double casts mess up, which is a little annoying. Yo, let's go. That's the issue with just practice mode and Riven's kit specifically. Other kits such as like, I'm trying to think of another one that has that. It's just when you have multiple casts for a champion. Renekton, when he had the super broken combos, he'd have that issue too. But now they fucked him over again, so you're not sitting here practicing that combo. And oh, I forgot to mention this. When you're doing the Nid Junior combo, it's ER just a tiny fraction of a second, and then the flash WQ. So it's more like ER FWQ, right? Something like that. But you do want to wait, it makes it more reliable to come out. Other things I like to practice during my practice sessions include just like wall hops. Obviously, if you're brand new to the champion, you just want to practice jumping over really thin things like this. Other stuff is practicing clearing these creep camps efficiently. And what I mean by efficiently is just making sure that all of your AoE is touching all of these things. We'll lock our level too. Other thing to practice would be double cast, just normal double cast. E, auto WQ. E, auto RQ. What the hell? Oh, delay. Yeah, it's again weird. I think it's the internal cooldown of Q. You want to kind of wait until that's gone and then double cast as a kid. See right here? It'll fuck it up. That's annoying. Okay, well now I know that. I've really paid attention to that garbage. Now for me, I love practicing like all those ridiculous wall hops. I've got a wall hop tutorial up on YouTube. It's pretty good. It's missing a couple of them though, and that would be, oops. It would be missing this one, which someone else found. Forget who found it. I'd like to credit them, but kind of just don't even remember. There's so many people linking all these jumps and stuff, and then there's this one, which is like this one from here to here is like my fucking Achilles heel. I just cannot get it. I can do this one decently. I mean, compared to that, yeah. But this one, I just, from inside the pit to out, I just can't get it. It's impossible. I'll meme and say it's impossible, but it's definitely not. It's definitely doable. I've done it before. Something, I messed up somewhere along the line and memorized like the wrong visual cue. I screwed up, you know? Need to fix that. Another one that I've been screwing up is over here. For some reason, like, this actually used to be like the easiest one for me, and now I just can't get it. Oh, I lied. Memeing. No, seriously though, I used to be able to do it. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's when I'm in game. You guys, everybody who knows, or everybody who watches, you guys know, I miss that shit so frequently. It's actually. All right, well. I guess you'll just have to wait until I'm streaming again to see me miss this repeatedly. This one though, I love this one. It's a newer one. Same with this. This one, I actually think this one's in my old wall hop video. It's this little thing. So like, the visual cues are pretty tough to find. But I click like in this spot. You see this little, what are these called? You see them in like swamps or like lakes. You see this? It's like looks like a corn dog, kind of, I guess. This thing right here. It's moving back and forth. I always click just a little down right to that. Like, see it? I'll move the cursor so you can see it. It's like the brownish thing. It's kind of floating around clockwise. I click around that. Right here, just bottom right a little. Boom. And so second part I hover over is this black spot. Around right here. Now it's tough, it's annoying because I use that visual cue. It's annoying when in chat someone's like pinging or something because I can't see this shit. So just practice, practice, practice until eventually, unlike me, you don't need that visual cue, you know? That's how I normally do these hops though. Oh no. Is it my autism? Is that why I just love doing wall hops? I think it is. But these are like the most difficult ones too. So if you can do these, you can do like any of the other wall hops pretty easily. No. Other thing, and actually it's a good thing it was the cloud drag that spawned. Another thing is trying to minimize damage from the jungle creeps, with Riven anyway. I mean, for any champ, you have your different little tricks that you can learn and abuse to minimize or maximize damage, right? But with Riven, I want to hit it, and I want to block 2 autos with every E, right? And basically, you just wait until that the E is about to hit, the first one, right? And then you use your E. Because this thing attacks fast as shit. Pretty much, if you practice, it should be every time your E's up, it should be blocking 2 hits. Oh my goodness. And then there's actually, for this one, I haven't seen this recently. They may have fixed it, but because of its attack speed, or rather not because of its attack speed, because of the tick rate. I mean, so notice my E lasts 1.5 seconds, right? This thing attacks less than every 2 seconds, but still, sometimes I will block 2 autos. Sometimes at the same time, sometimes I'll block 0 if I'm like Eing at the last moment. Oops. Actually, no, I think they fixed it. Yeah, they certainly fixed it. Its attack speed was a little faster, maybe? Yeah, it feels like they normalized the attack speed of these. But the, not the babies, but the mom, because it's ranged, you can block 2 autos. Let's see. You can't do that with the mountain dragon or the fire or any of those, but for the cloud one, you can block 2 autos. And then same with Gromp. You can block the first 2 autos. Gromp's actually weird as shit. Like, I don't know. This one you can't block 2. Wolves, you used to be able to block 2, but again, it was tick rate dependent. Feels like they normalized it. Good job, Brett. Took 53 years. So, let's say you are, like I mentioned earlier, let's say you are picking up a champion for the first time ever. Usually what I like to do is no items, no leveling abilities, just chill, just last hit, using just auto attacks. And then I'm not pushing, I'm not doing anything, I'm just conditioning the CS, and I'm just trying to last it to the best of my ability. Now, for something like a Lowy, because their attack speed is just so slow, if you're under turret, without conditioning any of the minions, you're going to miss some. So you do have to condition, you do have to, I mean, in-game, obviously, I'm going to use my W, I'm going to use my Q to last it when necessary, right? But in the practice games, I'd just like to mess around with it, just use auto attacks for the very, very first time I'm playing a champion. Or, I mean, for the first, like, 3-4 waves. Once I'm done with that, I'll start using abilities to last hit, and then eventually I'm going to try to push as hard as I can while getting every last hit. And I'm not going to do that with abilities, but I'm just going to be autoing as often as possible. And this is to become as fluid as possible with my champion and with my CSing patterns and stuff. But yeah, this one is like so hard. This wall hop, man, oops. He's gonna beat this shit out of me. That wall hop actually drives me insane. I'll have to, and see, that's the problem with not knowing who did the video, right? It's like, I can't remember where the fuck the video is. I can't remember to go watch it and see like right where they were aiming, right? The other thing is if they are using a different resolution than me, where they aim and where I aim, it will be different to actually do the jumps and stuff. So that's the one annoying thing that we don't we don't think about, but yeah. Other stuff to practice on Ribbon would obviously be fast Q. We've got a video on that already. I mean, the Ribbon main subreddit is super useful for learning all that stuff, so I don't really need to go over that here. But I practice fast Q, practice my combos, practice trying to Q into W, practice just aiming, like, it's more, when I practice, it's more like mouse and keyboard dexterity that I'm really practicing, because I already know the mechanics, right? I just want to be good at them. I want to work on and make sure I'm not losing it, you know? Because it doesn't matter if you know the mechanics, it's just whether you can do them or not that matters. So doing practice games and stuff is really useful for that. Now, I figure I'll probably end up making a video showing each champion and how you should be comboing, or maybe we'll start off with just like top lane, showing like, oh, here's an optimal combo, like if you face check into the brush or something like that, right? So like if and we could start here for Ribbon. If someone were to face check into me, if I'm in a brush, right? What I want to do, it's gonna be something like this. I'm gonna start off with, and it's gonna be a double cast. I'm gonna E auto RQ, stun him, and anytime I use my R, like the execute portion, I usually want it to be during a CC portion. Obviously, circumstances aren't always perfect, but that's how you can generally make sure that it actually lands. But yeah, there's even like a clip of there was Boxbox and oh yeah, this was on LS's stream. LS was coaching Boxbox, and Boxbox could have won this one fight. He was against Revenge. This is when Revenge was #1 on the ladder. I believe he was he was Echo, and so it was Boxbox versus Revenge, Ribbon versus Echo, and he had an engage. They were just in lane. It wasn't a phase check. They were just in lane, and Box goes for the engage, but he doesn't. He didn't do an optimal engage because he, like, I believe he ER and then he auto, you know, and like he uses W, and he got him low, but Echo, you throw your ult, Echo just clicks R, he's gonna juke that shit, right? That's why knowing proper engage combos is usually a really good thing. And not only knowing them, but, you know, practicing the shit out of them so that they're like kind of second nature. It's just practice, practice, practice. Even Box, our trap god, makes mistakes. So don't be afraid to kick on that practice mode and practice the shit out of this silly little game that we love. Another thing I like to do, I like to practice, is just like flashing, you know, flashing over walls. And this isn't Riven dependent, this isn't any champion dependent. You just kind of... Oh! I don't know why I queued right there. What about... Nope. That's pretty much it. I've done this on stream quite a few times, but I mean, if I'm just sitting here doing a practice session, no one's really gonna watch. You guys aren't really paying attention. Even though I think, like, you straight up fucking, you guys should pay attention to this shit. Because it doesn't matter if you know that your champion counters such and so, right? It doesn't matter if you just know, oh yeah, Darius, yeah, he sure does counter Riven. It doesn't matter if you know that if you don't know how to click your buttons. It doesn't matter at all that you know that, oh yes, I win the lane as Pantheon and a Riven. Yeah, I win the lane. That doesn't fucking matter if your hands are completely, they're just the most disabled hands. The most useless hands. You have no idea how to push the buttons in what order, right? If you haven't put in the practice, someone who has practiced that champion, they're gonna mop the floor with you, and everybody's gonna be laughing at you and calling you names and say, like, you're just the fattest, dumbest, most autistic streamer, Dekar, and you'll never amount to anything. And wait, we got sidetracked there. Really though, practice, practice, practice. I tell, and I mean, 9 times out of 10, when somebody comes to me, I tell them, like, what elo are you? What are you? You're silver? You're silver 4, right? Oh yeah, I'm a silver 4. I'm a fitness main, and you know, I just need lessons, man. I want to learn this game. Really, I just want to learn the game. I want to learn how to play League, right? Well, my lessons are $100, homie. Oh, well, that's pretty steep. And I'm like, well, yeah, and I mean, you're silver, so you're not really gonna learn shit from me. It doesn't, because really, all I'm gonna tell you is just work on your mechanics. If you're silver, if you're gold, even if you're like mid plat, the easiest, best way that you can practice this game is just flick it on, start up practice tool, do 30 minutes of just practicing random things, whether it's flashing over thick walls, setting down wards quickly, comboing these minions so that you just kill them as quickly as possible. Even just CSing, practice CSing, practice, 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 practice. 5 minutes of CSing. The first 5 minutes of the wave, just practice CSing that. And then move on to something else. Move on to comboing the dummy so that you combo the dummy in such a fashion that you have the highest DPS you've ever had, right? Something like that. If you do all these things for, I mean, you do it just once, you're not really gonna learn very much from that. But if you do it every day, maybe even once or twice a day, every day, for a week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, your skill level, your familiarity, your dexterity with the mouse and keyboard, all these things are going to add up to the point where the player, if you record yourself on the first day and then you record yourself the next week and then on the final day, right, you're going to be a completely different player from when you started compared to the end result, right? And that's whether you paid me $100, $1,000, you could pay me $1 million fucking dollars. Nothing I tell you can give you the dexterity and the skill that you're actually looking for. It doesn't matter how many times I tell you, practice, practice, practice. It's just like, literally, this is what I do. This is what I do when I'm in a slump, or if I'm trying to, reset or something. I mean, sometimes a lot of people will have issues where, oh yeah, I just can't keep control of my attitude. Well, I mean, enter. Where is it? Interface. Bam. Turn off all chat. That helps a lot of people. Enter. Hotkeys. Communication. I just tilt all the time. Oh, wait. You can't turn off enter anymore? You can't turn off typing? Display, player movement, hold up. Oh, so you gotta do it in, that's so annoying. So there's actually a way to disable your enter key, and I used to do this to disable my mouse wheel. I'll look it up, who gives a shit. But you actually make your own config, and you're going to make it so that your enter key is disabled. In-game, enter, when you click enter, does nothing. Because the amount of communication that you're contributing to your team is far less. And I mean, do they even listen to you? Nobody ever listens. When you type, watch out, run, 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 it's gonna be something like this, right? Watch out, Malphite's coming. He just hit level 6. Watch out, run middle lane. Middle laner, retreat. Get out, he's coming. All these things, like, they don't see any of this shit. You know what they see? They see the half health ranged minion that they're about to last it. It's gonna take about 3 seconds to get conditioned by their wave, right? They're walking up for it, and I mean they're leaning to the left over here because they put a ward here or something. They put a ward like right here, so they think they're safe on this side, right? And they're just gonna die. It doesn't matter what you type. And then after you typed all this shit, they say, call Mia. And they ping right there, right? What do you do in response? Shit, I did call Mia. I said it 1,000,000 times. I typed a paragraph to NASA telling them to notify you, and then that just turns into a fight. You guys just start fighting each other, and lo and behold, 15-minute FF15. It's not useless. And that's it. What do you say to that? Disable your enter key. Disable enter key. Just use pings if you're a tilt lord. That's not even mechanics. That's just like fix your shit. Stop typing to these guys. Doesn't matter how skillful you are. If you're sabotaging yourself, you're gonna lose games that you should otherwise win. But that's something else entirely. I think we went over a few things. We went over some stuff that you could be that could be useful to you for learning the game. Not even learning the game, but just, I mean, working towards these are attainable, easily attainable small goals, right? First day. What was my CS at 10 minutes? While practicing. What was it? Write it down. Second day. Don't even compare yourself to yesterday. Don't even try to, be better than that. Just practice, 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 and just take note. What was my CS? Third day. Fourth day. And so forth and so on, right? Keep practicing, and then eventually, the end result, the 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, you're a new man. You're far better than your previous self. And that's all we could really hope for, right? do these wall hops again. I love these wall hops so much. I do use them pretty frequently in game, but not as much as I'd like to, because they're like, it's not that they're unreliable, it's that like myself doing the wall hops, I'm not 100%, so obviously it's gonna be an unreliable tool in my arsenal. When it works though. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Always gotta say, first try. True or false, it's always the first try. Yeah, this is another one that's kind of difficult. It's mainly about not like aggroing this stupid thing when it's up. Usually I'll queue into the wall if it is up. Makes it easier. Look at this idiot trying to chase me. You dingleberry. You stinker. No. There we go. Still need to find that video. If someone actually, so when I upload this, if you have the video of going from here over this wall, from inside the Baron Pit and jumping over the wall, right, this thick ass wall, if you got the video of that, or you know where the video is, you should link it to me. Or if you even make your own video. So if you are going to make your own video, and actually I should probably kill this fucker so I can do this a bit better. It's enough shit to kill him? Yeah, it's gotta be. Taking smite, so I can just smite it repeatedly. Oh my goodness. So when you do find the spot, so if you're gonna make your own video, the way you do it, so we can see exactly where you're clicking and stuff, is you first find the spot where you stand to do so. So it's gonna be somewhere in this area, like a little circle right here. So if it's right here, you just hover over it, maybe, you know, click. And then you center yourself and find the second spot. The second spot is where you aim to actually dash into the wall to go over it. Right? I'll mess around with it too. Try to find the spot. I really should write down all the videos that I use to watch stuff, like the wall hop stuff. Oops. That's my beat. But anyway, this video's it was fun making this. I'll be making some more stuff, some more structured things than, well, more structured things than this in future, such as maybe also I'll start with the top laners and how to combo with top laners, such as Jarvan, like Irelia, how her optimal trade combo would go, something like Renekton. each of these. That'll make it easier for you guys to understand like what I mean when I say, oh yeah, you practice your combo. Practice, oh yeah, you practice your combo, right? Well, not everybody knows what their combo is, especially if you're new to a champion or something. So yeah, I'll make some videos like that, and that will be probably within the next week. I'll be making some stuff like that for you guys. So thank you to everyone who checked out the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Also, we'll be making, obviously, we'll be still doing normal uploads that Nero's been doing, but he's a little busy right now, so just one video for the next roughly 1 week. Only one of his edited videos, obviously. We'll upload some stuff like this, some more wall hop stuff once I mess around with that, and then on top of that, I've got another video about creep block coming up, so hopefully Riot fix that. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.